Hello there, my music lovers. I'm Josh from audiophile-heaven, and today we are having a look at FiiO FH5s. This is a hybrid EM with two dynamic drivers, two balanced armatures, and the price of $280, so pretty good price too. Let's get down to it! So my music lovers, as you may know, I'm a big fan of well done EMs. I really like when someone does their job really good. FiiO has a very clean record of that. One thing you should keep in mind about FiiO is that you are best when purchasing their products from an authorized dealer and local dealer especially. Because FiiO grew quite a lot, they need to service literally thousands of customers, and all of those customers can't really send their stuff back to China because import to China, export from China, everything just going in and out of China is passing really slowly. And I really want to recommend you to purchase from something like Amazon, local sellers, authorized local sellers of course, and other reliable sources that can offer you the warranty. FiiO offers good warranty, but only through them because directly it is a nightmare to do the shipping. And in general, when purchasing from Chinese companies, try to go with a shop that can service you directly, quicker and more reliably than having to wait weeks for something to get into China. And now the FiiO FH5s. This is something I've been waiting for with a smile on my face because this is the upgrade from the FiiO FH5. I loved the FiiO FH5. It was a true master back when it was released, and the FiiO FH5s is even better actually. The unboxing is interesting. It comes with many of the accessories that FD5 had. So we have the same carrying case that FiiO uses with their FD5. Nothing wrong with that. A lot of companies do the same accessory setup, the same stuff for multiple EMs because it is cheaper to do it that way and it is more reliable. They can create one good accessory setup and reuse it. The carrying case looks cool. It has leather on the outside. That is where the FiiO FH5s is right now. They usually come in this piece of material. They come with a huge selection of tips. And right from the start, I will tell you this. I was able to lose the tips, and in general, I applied the same amount of torture to everything I review, so nothing gets special treatment. I torture everything, I go out with everything, I take photos of everything gets treated the same way. Somehow, despite everything being treated the same way, some things do act a bit of the beaten path. And FiiO FH5s is one such thing, because in my experience, while taking photos of them, I managed to lose one of the silicone tips. So be careful with that, the silicone tips are kind of slippery. That being said, I was not able to reproduce the issue inside my ears, so when inserting them, the silicone tips never remained in my ears. It is something that just happened while taking photos, so be careful not to lose your tips. They are pretty hard to source and each of them is unique. Upon doing that, I discovered that I prefer the FiiO base tips over the FiiO neutral tips or balance tips, and the base tips actually offer the best bass overall resolution, clarity and tactile feeling. They have a very deep bass with a ton of impact. Inside the package, besides the EM and the carrying case, we can find one little key that you use to remove the MMCX connector. We have a cleaning tool and two extra jacks. And as I'll explain in a second, FiiO FH5s comes with replaceable jacks to their cables. There is some paperwork explaining how to use the FiiO FH5s, but that is not that relevant. FiiO FH5s is actually rather good. It is in my top 10 EMs ever created, like the FiiO FD5, although they kinda compete at this moment. In my mind, the differences between them are smaller than they should be. The FiiO FH5s is made of metal. It is a semi-open EM, so it doesn't offer perfect protection from the outside noise, and it leaks a bit. So if you are a loud listener and if you need to stay quiet, the FiiO FH5s may not be the best option. Also, if you know that you want to isolate yourself very well from the outside noise, once again, not the best option. The comfort and ergonomics were redesigned compared to the original FiiO FH5, and now they have the same design as most FiiO EMs. They have a longer tube, which means that they offer absolutely heavenly comfort. While wearing them, you kind of forget that they exist. They are very comfortable. I love them. I love the comfort of the FiiO FH5s. They offer about 15 to 20 decibels of passive noise isolation, if not more, so I'm not complaining about the isolation. It just ain't that perfect, but for me it is more than enough. I actually can barely hear myself. I noticed a bit of cable noise, so there is a bit of cable microphonic. I did not notice that with FiiO FD5 for some reason, so the FiiO FH5s has it while the FD5 did not. There are switches at the back of the EM that you can use to configure the sound. Each one of them basically makes the bass a little more aggressive, the mid a bit more aggressive, and the treble a bit more aggressive. They are named BMT, bass, mids, treble. I love the fact that they finally named them something logical. Before it was KB01. No sense in that. Bass, mid, treble. Very cool naming. I prefer the sound with all of them engaged, so everything is a bit more V-shaped, a bit more engaging, a bit more vibrant, a bit more detailed. I love the sound in that situation. And I am using the balanced 4.4mm plug right now. It is what I've been using them with because balanced connectors tend to have a slightly better sound in general, but you have the 3.5mm single-ended connector and also 2.5mm balanced connector. Replacing the jack is quite simple. You just need to unscrew the metallic part like this, and then you pull. Then you pull on the jack, which is a fairly simple operation. So this is the whole operation. The jack has a very long black plasticky part in the back. To put it back, you need to use a bit of force when pulling and when pushing the jack back in, which is good because it means it is never going to get lost. I'm generally trying to think what I covered from the EM already so that I can focus on what I did not cover already so that I can give you a complete throughout review. On the FiiO FH5s, I noticed that it has a slightly more mid-aggressive sound than the FD5. It is less mid-centered than the original FiiO FH5. The original FH5 was more mid-centric, which resulted in a more fatiguing sound. The original also was a bit more hot in the upper mid-range lower treble, after which it rolled off, while the new FH5s is actually way more balanced all across the range. It is still a bit mid-aggressive, so even regardless of how you tweak the settings, it is a bit mid-forward and mid-centric. So you are getting a more forward vocal presentation, which brings the voices closer to you. It also gives them excellent clarity. They are very naturally tuned, although they are a bit V-shaped in general, so regardless of the settings you apply to them, they will be slightly V-shaped. They go from slightly V-shaped to aggressively V-shaped, but they are never mid-centric in the true sense of the word, so they are never mid-forward like Etymotic typically is. They are never fatiguing actually, they are not a very fatiguing EM, and they are never a very bassy EM with low treble. You can't really configure those things on them, so please keep that in mind. They are configurable, but only slightly. The entire configuration mechanism adjusts the sound with 3 to 5 decibels at maximum, so don't rely on it to heavily EQ them. They actually just flavor the sound, so I can describe the sound quite reliably. The bass tips, compared to the neutral tips, add a few decibels of bass and a slightly better control and better impact. Same for the vocal tips, they add a bit more mid-forward presentation, but once again, they flavor the sound more than they change the sound. Don't expect those things to actually remake the entire sound. They are actually good for flavoring. The sound is extremely detailed, very coherent. Despite having 4 drivers, 2 dynamics and 2 balanced armatures, it is quite coherent. It has excellent overall instrument separation, very good detailing. The soundstage is not very wide, it is actually natural and quite centered around you, so it is like at head level. Nothing comes from very far apart and nothing goes too far from you, so that is something to take into account. Even background instruments tend to be quite close to you. It is one of those more intimate sounding EMs, which can work quite well for jazz, for pop, for electronic EDM. It does not work quite that well for symphonic music, for classical music. It is a bit too intimate for classical music, but I like them quite a lot with rock, with pop, with EDM, with metal even thrashcore, even mathcore, technical death metal. All of those things sound quite beautiful to the FiiO FH5s. They do female voices quite beautiful, and if you are a fan of Mori Calliope, I really liked her voice through the FiiO FH5s, even better than through the FiiO FD5. FD5 tends to be a bit more aggressive in the treble, while the FiiO FH5s is more natural overall as a sound, while the mid-range is a bit more forward. It brings a bit more life into the mids, a bit more presence, a bit more clarity, and a bit more engagement in the mid-range. FiiO FH5s and FiiO FD5 both have a beautiful bass, very tactile, very low reaching, and very clear type of bass. They all beat the FiiO FH5, the original, quite badly. So the FiiO FH5, the original, was a very natural type of EM. It was quite hot in the upper mid-range, it rolled off afterwards, and it was very mid-aggressive. It was a very mid-centric sound. The FiiO FH5s is still pretty mid-happy, so they still went with the same overall idea of a tuning, but it is different this time around. It is more natural, easier to enjoy with a wider selection of music, and in general I really enjoyed them. I am really happy to listen to them. I could easily swap a flagship for the FiiO FH5s, if you are wondering that. I get a lot of questions like that, including mails and in the YouTube comments and on my website. And usually people try to get the best they can for the least money. It is a natural thing. I also try to do that with my computer, with my monitor, with everything. I try to be very efficient with my resources. I would say that the FiiO FD5 has the best overall price performance ratio because it is the most generic of them all. Like, it has the most generic sound. It is a bit more V-shaped, so the mids aren't that forward, while the FH5s is a bit more mid-happy, which means that it is going to appeal to those who know that they want this type of sound. I do consider the FiiO FD5 to have a slightly better value than the FiiO FH5s, but honestly I would actually listen more to the FiiO FH5s because I prefer the overall happier mid-range. It works very well for female voices, and I'm listening a ton of female voice-centric music, especially Musicality. I have a passion for her music, I'll be honest with you. I hope you are also following her music. Don't know about her channel, I'm not as much into VTubers, but I am really into all that Japanese rap kind of thing. I like it. I like the sound of it. It is very well mastered, very good music, even for audiophiles. They will get remembered in time, like all of the good music does. Try to enjoy what music makes you feel like you are enjoying a guilty pleasure. When it comes to music, I really hope you are enjoying what you are truly enjoying. Never try to impress others with the music you listen. Never try to listen music for others. Listen music for yourself. I was a die-hard metalhead in my youth, and a lot of people around me were not enjoying the music that they would enjoy the most. For example, I love Metallica's Saint Anger album, and a lot of my friends hated it because everyone hated it because it was a new concept for Metallica, but I loved it. I still like it. It is a good album, and I will enjoy it. Nobody can stop me from enjoying the music I'm enjoying. Please do that as well. It would be a great service to me if you did that. I would sleep better at night if I knew that you were happy with the music you are listening to. Please be happy. Please have a fun time in there. Please enjoy things that are to your own taste. If you like K-pop, go ahead and listen to it. If you like metal, go ahead and headbang. If you like rap, go ahead and feel empowered by that music. Listen to anything that empowers you. This is the point of music. Feel empowered, feel happy, be happy with yourself, be happy with your life. Music is all about feeling good. And the FiiO FH5s is actually a great one for that. They are actually making me feel quite good. I appreciate their overall treble this time around. I really like the treble. It is still a bit hot in the upper mid-range and the lower treble, but not by a big margin. It is enjoyable with most music. It is not too aggressive. I'm actually having a good time even with older, poor recorded and poorly mastered music. It is enjoyable for their bass. The bass of the original FH5 used to roll off a bit in the lower bass and the sub bass, while the FiiO FH5s, so the new one, doesn't have that problem. It is pretty linear, pretty natural, pretty clean, pretty clear, very good type of bass. It is not quite as detailed as a thematic bass tends to be, but it has a much better slump, much better impact, much better reach in the sub lows and in the lows. On the other hand, the treble has excellent air and extension coming from the original FH5. If you are coming from FiiO FD5, those are going to sound quite a bit more mid-centric and a bit hotter. And that treble is going to sound a bit more rolled off in the upper treble, while it is going to be a bit hotter in the upper mid-range. So please keep that in mind. They are different from the FD5. If you need to make a very serious purchase, if you are very low on cash, please read the full written reviews on my website. I'm much better at expressing my own thoughts and feelings there. Because in writing, I have more time to think, I have more time to find my words. Please keep in mind, those videos are here for you. They are here to bring you some joy, some fun. Those videos are not quite as serious because I just can't be serious in front of a camera. I am camera shy. I will monkey around. It is what my YouTube channel is supposed to be. Please stay if you enjoy it. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like on this video. Also press subscribe on my channel. It means the world to me. If you are here with me, if you like the video, please comment if you have questions or if I can help you. And if you like the video, please let me know. It really helps me out. I hope you can spare a dime and donate if you can. If you can't, it's okay. I hope you have the loveliest of weeks in there, and we'll see each other really, really soon. Bye bye.